Ask Reddit. What's the first date deal breaker for you? Being constantly on their phone. If it's a one-way conversation, me asking them questions and taking interest in their life and them asking none or minimal questions about me. Being married. Bringing your friend to the date because you were nervous. Bragging about your knife collection at home. Never knew these things would come up in the first dates I've been on, but here we are. Is anyone else put off if they're too, I dunno, clean? I don't mean dirt, I mean like, their performance. I want a person to occasionally say something stupid or ramble nervously, trip over their words, drop something, spill a drink, misinterpret a facial cue/hand gesture, or so I assume it was some older lady, to come pick her up and give her money. Expecting the guy, to pay for her. I mean I will, but if you are expecting me as if it is my job then fuck you. On the flip side, I hate when people get offensive about the woman offering to pay. I have gone on dinner dates with guys still in school and only working part-time, while I have a pretty well-paying job. Some of them have acted almost offended that I can even think of offering to pay for the meal that we both ate, since it shouldn't be the woman's responsibility to foot the bill. If she greets me at their door wearing a furry outfit, I'm not against people being furries, I just don't want to go down that path, yet if ever. If they expect sex. Fun story, I went on the worst date a while ago. Guy seemed nice enough when we first met, but during the first date, I realized he was a total sleaze and maybe crazy. He asked me out of the blue if I was on birth control. When I said yes, he said, "Sweet, that means I don't have to wear a condom." I was so taken aback. Who says stuff like that? At that point, I knew I'd never touch him, not when a 10.5-foot pole, but I felt weirdly compelled to explain to him how stupid that was. I asked what he'd do if he knocked me up. "Oh, it's no big deal. You'll just get it taken care of, that's all." He didn't understand that abortions aren't cheap, easy to get, or fun. When I expressed that, he rolled his eyes and said condoms weren't fair to him, and that having to wear a condom is a deal breaker. I left that restaurant so fast I must have made his head spin. He tried to backtrack, said maybe I can make an exception for you. I declined and told him I wasn't interested. Then he tried to call me up 9 months later to hang out. Because no girl in all of DC wants to go on a date and it's so frustrating. Maybe because you're gross and awful, dude. Also, this guy I haven't spoken to her since, and she's never tried again to contact me herself. Not appearing as shown on Tinder. I've had several dates where either creative photography or just ancient pics of oneself were used. I mean once I see you in person, you can't hide that you're 50 pounds heavier than advertised. If they turn into a girls gone wild chick after a couple drinks. Thank you but no thank you ma'am. Being difficult with the server, and when they show a disinterest in anything you have to say and bring the conversation back to themselves. If you're just gonna blow me off every time why bother lol. Lying. If someone is significantly different from anything they have led me to believe prior to the first date I'm immediately not interested. I don't really care that much about their weight, height, political leanings, religion, etc. But lie to me first thing and we've got nothing else to talk about. She told me all about her failed abortion and how she thinks pro-lifers have infiltrated clinics to purposely mess up procedures so the baby is stillborn. Maybe I'm picky, but that felt like second or third date material. Exes, especially if there seem to be too many of them. Bragging or moaning about sex life. Any evidence of a condescending attitude or a tone which suggests I'm being made fun of. This is not the same as flirting or simple teasing. Any kind of detectable annoyance or irritation with what I'm saying. I once ghosted after a first date due to a combination of the above. These to me are the equivalent of a serious fault on a British driving test. You have failed immediately and there is no going back, but you complete the rest of the test as a formality and don't find out until the end. Gross table manners, smacking their lips, chewing with their mouth open, etc. I once never saw a guy again because every time he took a bite he moaned a bit because the food was so good. It was disconcerting. I don't think he knew he was doing it. Went on a date with a guy yesterday who was a Christian. I'm an atheist, but that's fine. And went on an unprompted monologue about how homosexuality is not God's will. Not fine. I'm a man. We were both men. It was a gay date. It was very confusing. Anywho, so I called the date off and went to a coworker's son's first birthday party and got blackout drunk and high. It was a really wild birthday party. I woke up on her deck, being spooned in a lawn chair by a large Puerto Rican man in a Hawaiian shirt with tucans on it. He didn't speak English, and I don't speak 30. I'd expect this bullshit from a teenager, not a 30-year-old. Bad breath. Having trouble actually planning the first date. Met a girl once, and we hit it off really well. We'd met on Tinder, but after weeks of back and forth we exchanged Instagram usernames, and then phone numbers. I texted her asking when she had the day off, and if she wanted to go glow in the dark mini golfing, and she agreed, and gave me a date. We arranged a time, and a week later, the day before the date, I texted her to make sure we were still on. Her parents had apparently made last minute plans and she needed to babysit her much younger sister. Alright, fine, it happens. We agreed to try again some other time, and eventually I asked her to meet up and watch the premiere of the Netflix Umbrella Academy series with me on release day, which was exactly 2 weeks away, and she agreed. I texted her a week before the release asking for a time and place to meet up, and she told me she'd already made plans. I'm thinking okay WTF. Fine, whatever, and stopped texting her. 6 days later she actually sent me a Valentine's Day text, and I was about to just let it go, but then on the actual day of the show's release she posted publicly online that she was with friends watching Death Note on Netflix. If someone doesn't make a few mistakes I start to wonder what the hell their game is. I went out with a guy who said he's never broken up with a girl because if you're getting good pussy all the time, why would you give that up? So probably that. Being late. I'm not talking a few minutes late, I'm talking a half hour late or anything later than that. If we don't hit it off as friends. I haven't been in the dating world for a long time and everyone's a bit nervous on a first date. But if we couldn't just talk about movies and video games and goofy shit together, just have a relaxing time chatting without everything feeling like a weird competition or pageant, I knew it wasn't gonna work. Also, people who get way too pissed off over disagreement in media taste. If casual disagreements, not core values disagreements, just casual disagreements about gameplay preferences or special effects quality, or how good the writing in a novel is, make the other person red-faced angry, I'm moving in the other direction. About a month or two ago I matched with a girl on Tinder, so we decided to go on a date, but when I asked her what she wanted to do she turned down everything I asked. Then she said we are going to eat at a restaurant called Maria's, a Italian restaurant. I like their food, so I said sure. We get there, and it turns out that her ex, that she hasn't gotten over yet, worked there, and she was awkwardly flirting with him. So I was already thinking about ditching, but we already ordered, so I decided to wait. I went to the bathroom and her ex followed me. I was think back quote shit am I really about to fight some dude in a bathroom, but when the door closed he said dude leave her, she's crazy, had to break up with her after a week, because I caught her poking a hole in the condoms we bought. Needless to say I ordered separate checks and that pissed her off, and she said she didn't have any money. I said too bad, gave the guy a tip of $20 for the save, and decided to sit out in the parking lot. She had to call her mom. So while I'm confident we didn't have sex, I don't know what did happen. Suddenly unloading all their baggage on the first date. Like I get that you're lonely, but please see a therapist. I can't help you. I'm not looking to get into a relationship with someone who is codependent. I want to date a man who can be a life partner. 1. Any heavy drug use discussion. I don't mind if you've smoked a little pot or whatever, but if you think I'm going to be impressed by your shrooms habit. 2. Being on their phone the whole time. It's a date. If you're bored / not interested, say so and leave. It's fine. 3. If they currently or plan in the future to identify as a man. I'm not into dudes, just women, no matter how they may have previously identified. Dating in my teens and early 20s, I was naive and insecure. So loved it when a guy said I was so much better than his last girlfriend who was a bitch. Dating again in my 50s, being wiser and secure with myself. My response to the ex-bitch story is, what the hell did you do to her?